benefits the student, and second, which side best fulfills the higher principles of the education system. So first, which side best benefits the student? And let's be reasonable. We recognize that certain people don't like debate, but we argue that the education system doesn't legislate based on a certain group in society who does not like it, but rather caters to the majority of people under this. Because first of all, it's a fundamental skill set, as we characterize in our first and second speakers, that benefits them. Because when they are able to oratorize their ideas in order to ensure that they benefit themselves in the working world. But we would like to think that they have been debating on an extremely small minority of people. Because if you listen carefully to their language, they've been talking about the people who hate debate due to some reason which they have not talked to us about. So we think that it's not symptomatic of every single scenario and every single student involved. So they concede the majority of this. But we are going to argue that debate is something that best benefits the student and best creates passion. Because first of all, debate isn't some complicated mathematical formula that students cannot understand or pay attention to. But rather it's something that allows students to encourage each other to take insight and allows them to express their own opinion. So this is something that is beneficial towards them. But even if that's not the case, we think that the solution isn't just to rule out this possibility of debate, but to implement mechanisms that best benefit the students and best create a passion there, such as creating debating games or creating activities that make them interested in debate. So the solution is not to just ban debate totally. But if you listen carefully to their policy, we think that they have crossed the house, because in their policy they talk about ensuring things such as exhibition debates for the students. So in order to ensure these exhibition debates, they need to be attending classes or attending a compulsory system whereby they have to listen to this. But what is outside the house justified? Because on outside the house we give them the legitimate choice whether they want to take debate as a subject. But the important thing is that they have to stay in the classroom setting and stay in that situation whereby they are able to be benefited under the status quo. But even if you want to consider all this analysis about how they will suddenly hate debate and about how they will suddenly not like debate, we think that the benefits of debate aren't by students being interested in it, but benefiting them in a passive manner, such as making them understand that there are wider issues beyond the current mathematical formulas or beyond the current things they are being taught. So we benefit them on the outside of the house. But we are going to argue that a classroom setting is the best way in order to inculcate this value. This is because they do not have time to develop this sort of skill sets under their policy. Because just like what he said in the second speaker's substantive, there are a lot of other activities that these students have to cater to. And that's when we need the current education system to benefit them under outside the house. Yes, sir.
You fail to understand that if students aren't interested in debate, they can't learn anything from it.
So firstly, you have failed to prove to us why systemically students will hate debate suddenly because we introduced this policy. But even if that's not true, we argue that it's still better for them to be a classroom setting than not attending any debate at all and not going to attend any sort of matches between people. So at least on outside the house, we are able to expose them even if it means that they hate them even more. Because the role of the education system isn't to cater to the desires of the students, but cater to the benefit of the students under outside the house. But we got another distinction coming from the speaker, that debates are something that happen in a small minority of situations and students don't take debates seriously. And that's precisely why we need to implement our policy in order to get them interested and in order to get them incentivized to do this debating under outside the house. So second point of contention, on who best benefits the wider burdens of the education system. Because we argue from the very beginning that the education system is not to cater to these desires, but rather to see how much it benefits the students in an objective way. Let's further illustrate this scenario as to how it benefits the student. Because we argue that in the current working world, you need to present your ideas, you need to be able to convince people. Because the world and the global economy has evolved to a point whereby it no longer requires skill sets such as those that you mark with this group and outside the house, benefits them by empowering them the ability to communicate under outside the house. But even if that's not true, and this is why we are going to take down that idea about marking which they presented their first opposition speaker, outside the house is still going to benefit them on the outside because they are able to make them mark for this debate, and because when they mark for it, that's when they are able to get this skill set. So we think that under most situations, and no matter what, we are still comparatively better on outside the house. But this is the analysis that they failed to do. That society is best when people are able to oratorize these ideas. And the role of the education system is to cater to what society needs rather than cater to a specific group and interest of the students. Let's evolve this idea. Because we are going to push them to a corner and question them whether they will ban things such as exams, whether they will ban anything that a student doesn't like just because it somehow creates some form of stress on the students or some form of harm to the students or something that they don't like. Because the role of the education system is to look beyond such minor things and rather to look at the greater objective and how it benefits the students on the outside of the house. But even if that's not not the case. We best benefit the students by preparing the working world, preparing them for the working world. So we don't think that it's something that is extremely problematic on our side of the house. But even if we have to consider all the analysis of how we don't benefit the students from the working world, we argue that we benefit the students who are interested in debate in the first place. And that's the fundamental part of policy, because we are able to institutionalize the curriculum of debate to people who are interested in it and in order to benefit them under our style house. So that's why we think it's too late for third opposition to come out and respond to all this analysis, because doing so will fail to reinforce the false line of analysis that they have told us within their speaker. So because of all these reasons, because we best benefit the education system, because we are able to prepare the students for the working world, because debate has unique skill sets that cannot be achieved through other mechanisms, and because we best fulfill the role of the education system, because the education system isn't just about looking at what students want, but about how they benefit them, even if it somehow infringes on the rights, which is justified to infringe on the rights of people who are adults here. So go inside proposition.